Some of you might like to know a little bit more about our drummer.
Now going back to 40 years of Chick Webb.
Is drummer right? Is it okay to say drummer?
Pounding his pulsing beat into the hearts of all America.
You motherfuckers are fucking all over this joint.
You do your kind of drumming, and I'll do my kind of drumming.
I have no more time. You don't know what I love again.
The only things I care about in this goddamn life are me and my drums and you.
The official explanation was he choked on vomit.
You suppose maybe I could put the drums in your place and sort of drop in once in a while?
Now back to Gene Krupa's syncopated style shortly.
Get up there behind those drums, lean back, close your eyes, get right in the groove there, give it a good steady beat.
I got blisters on my fingers!
I'd hit that.
Hey everybody, Dave here. Just a quick reminder before we start the brain interview. I'd Hit That is 3 years old today. Look out! 3 years have gone by. Crazy. Feels like 6 years to me, but it's 3, so there you go. And hey, thanks to you, the listeners, for keeping it going, for your support, for your enthusiasm, for your donations. There we go. Folks, got to remind you, this show runs on your donations, not advertising, your donations. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind doing away with the advertising if the donations could pick up some of the weight. I understand your concerns. You don't want me to get rich from this. And a lot of you are just like, I'm not fucking sending Dave money. Fuck him. I get this for free. I urge you to reconsider. I know there's a lot of other shows out there right now, but let me tell you something. Sounds to me like a lot of guys sitting at home in their underwear doing phoners and Skype interviews. I'm out there in the fields. I'm going to people's homes. I'm going to their studios. And, I'm wearing underwear when I do these interviews, obviously, but I'm also wearing pants. And I think that's the difference. We wear pants on I'd Hit That. So head on over to I'dHitThatPodcast.com. Look on the right side. You'll see a white button. It says PayPal. Donate. If you've given in the past, I thank you. But maybe that was like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So maybe, yeah. I'd like to be here a year from now saying, hey, look at us. We're 4 years old and all that crap. I'm going to need your help. Please donate so you can keep us in pants. Thank you. Here's Bryan. I'm in Venice, California.
Yeah.
With Bryan.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
What's
where
up,
we are.
man?
Oh, just hanging. Drinking some sparkling water.
Yeah. Well, it's very European of us.
Yeah. Power bars and sparkling water.
Power bars. It's a good way to start the day.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the space?
We use it for like bowling instead of bowling night out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hang at the studio night out. You know,
because it's kind of studio vibe, but it's also got a great hang vibe.
Yeah. That's sort of what we built it for. When we first got it, we thought, let's build a control room. Let's, have it like a real traditional studio. And, this guy next door was building out the studio that way. And he came over and looked at our spot. And we thought maybe we can get some free advice. And he was like, well, I'm building like will.i.am's studio right now. And he's just leaving it open. We thought, wow. will.i.am's making a lot of money, so let's copy him. So we just kind of left it like this.
But you live over in this neck of the woods, or?
Yeah,
okay.
I live about a mile away in Santa Monica.
Yeah, because you were saying, Bryan was saying he's been doing more composing these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get into.
And there's been some more work from home. Got a home set up? Yeah,
I got a home studio, and then we have this studio, and I don't know, it's probably about... Well, with Guns, it started with, I think, Primus when we were touring with Slayer. I think it was with Slayer. And I think we were like in Norway or something, and they were rolling these huge cases that looked like they were they'd been around the world. They were Slayer's cases, road cases, and they had like a sticker from every country, and they were just beat up, and I just looked in the mirror and I was just like, wait, I'm starting to look beat up, and like I'm becoming one of those road cases. I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I just really started getting into computers and music. This is probably 1999. Around that time, I was really thinking I want to get into computers and music. Was just starting out, we had done anti-pop, and Stuart Copeland was produced a couple songs, and he was like, while he was helping us produce songs at Les's house, he was at the same time doing a video game. And he was like, oh man, I've been doing some composing and on video games and stuff like that. And I had already known that he was involved with he did Wall Street and Rumblefish. Yeah, I love Rumblefish. I love that soundtrack. And I thought, I don't know, just something, I just got that, like, it was like something that I just remembered throughout the years of just like, oh, that's interesting. He's doing like video games and composing and stuff like that. And I always liked listening to the music in movies and stuff. I always kind of gravitated to that, not because I was like a drummer or a musician, just more just I like the with the emotion and how music and film work together, and if it's done really well, you get the best, like Jaws or something. You know what I mean? It's the simplest thing, but as soon as you hear that, you just go, oh shit, the shark's coming, or whatever. You hear that low bass, and it's this, there it is. So I don't know, I just always had gravitated towards that. So when he had said that, I had thought about it, and when I saw those cases and thought, wow, man, you just tour for the rest of your life, and you're just gonna be this, like, road dog, and just, so I was just like, I gotta get into something. So I just started really getting into computers and music, and just taking theory lessons, jazz, piano, just classical, chamber music, everything. I just studied all kinds of this theory.
You got off the road with Primus, and you just went right into...
I was doing it while I was on the road. So I would be like studying, doing, learning, and when I was off the road, then I would take lessons, get back on the road, and just learn how to like plug in. I remember being out with like Guns N' Roses. We were doing like Rock in Rio one time, and Bucket and I would just be sitting there trying to figure out how to like plug the first sound card that someone had sent us into our laptops. It was like that black old school laptop, into the PCM slot or whatever, and trying to make it work. We spent like 8 hours just trying to get like a piano to come through the keyboard or something, because it was just that it was so early. So I was always interested in it and doing it while I was on the road. And then, since then, I mean, I remember when I bought...
But you're self-taught is what you're getting at.
No, I mean, well, you mean as in traditional composing?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess if you're talking about, going to like, NYU and taking the film composing class and learning orchestration and...
But even you had the attitude of, this isn't going to be my future. Like, you knew you didn't want to be a touring guy, like you said. You just figured that out early, obviously.
Yeah, so, I swear, dude, I still remember when those cases were rolling up and I saw them all beat up, and I was just thinking, wow, I'm just going to be one of those guys that's just on the road till I'm 50 years old, just like, so I thought, I wanted to
young,
be sitting...
though. You were young. You know
I wanted to be sitting
like,
behind a desk,
Yeah.
Doing this.
Did you have that discussion with Les at that point? Did you ever?
No, no one knew.
Okay, you just kept it to yourself at that point.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, so I gotta figure something else out. I gotta have a plan.
Yeah. Yep. And even with
and I don't know anything about anything. Is that what you're saying? Like you couldn't play piano or guitar or bass at all?
No. That part, I started I would take private lessons, and then from there just figure it out. But I was always interested in how in computers anyways, just computers and music, just like getting like Electronic Musician or Sound on Sound and those magazines as I was touring, and just kind of be going like, what these people are, what is this stuff? Oh, that's cool, laptop, and you can record. Or
so you were geeking out on this stuff like early on too, like you're like just computers in general. Are you good with? I mean, were you?
Yeah, I mean, I just I was never like programming from scratch, like creating the plugins and using, I had friends that were using this program called Kima, where it was just like, I don't even know if it exists now, but it was the most, it just was a blank page, and you just connect a bunch of fucking lines together, and before you know it, you can make sounds, and it's just that kind of synthesis that I was more just like, well, I want to take what these people have, started and kind of use it in a way to like, express what I want to do on the keyboards and stuff. I mean, with keyboards and with computers and music. Well, there's that sound.
There's that beep again, folks. All right, it's time to play.
Yeah, that is out. Yeah.
Well,
so I guess
we took the batteries out of the smoke alarm. It wasn't that.
I don't know what that is. It's weird. It's like a bomb or something. Like it's gonna go off. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, basically that's how I started getting composing, and to fast forward till now, it's kind of like that's mainly what I've been doing. But I get to double dip. I mean, I play drums on the soundtracks that I'm either composing or producing or working on.
Yes.
Sometimes I just get hired to just play drums on, whether it be a film or a video game or, whatever.
But are you getting calls from bands or artists these days who are like, dude, can you just come lay down something? And
yeah, I mean, I did some just some shows and did some stuff with the Crystal Method. So that's recently what I've been doing. And most of the stuff I've turned down. Like, a big one was when Joe Satriani called me. I think he, replaced me with Vinnie Colaiuta, so I don't think they missed me. But, he was like, hey, dude, I got this album. I'm really, we're going to go to Skywalker Sound, do all this stuff. And right then I was just on, getting a video game with Sony. It was the Infamous 2. And it was from the Infamous series. Right now I think they're on number 4. But, and it's a big AAA game on, for Sony PlayStation. And I was just getting it and going, wow, that was my big turning point of, wow, I can either start getting into that or go back to just, okay, we're going to be in Europe for, 6 months in a, I don't know if you've seen those double-decker Europe fucking tour buses, but no one wants to be on those things. So, I mean, I just had to say, I'm getting into this. I have to take a chance. I have to break in at one point. And it worked out great. I mean, the soundtrack was great. They asked me to come back to do number 3. So, Infamous Second Son just came out. So, I got to play drums on it. And so I just, I'm just trying to get that going.
You're happier, man. You're doing your thing. You don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, I guess couldn't.
So what was the last touring thing you were doing? Was it Guns?
Yeah, a full-on tour was Guns, the Europe tour, the European tour. I remember leaving.
And what year is that, by the way?
2006, I think it was. Yeah. 2007.
Okay.
So, I've been off the road now, because the stuff I did with Crystal Method was local, stuff like that. It was just like some TV shows, stuff like that. And, it's great playing with those guys. I mean, those guys are like, awesome. But I don't know if I missed the road, I don't know when, Lur goes back out with Primus and he's like, dude, I'm going out for 6 weeks. I missed that, I know that grind. I know exactly what's happening. Know exactly what venue they're in and what the toilet looks like. And, the shower doesn't work in that one and, that kind of stuff. So, and because this is just a whole new thing. It's just I'm learning so much. And half the shit, I literally just walk into these executives at Warner Brothers and they're talking about some kind of show or some movie and they're having terms where I'm just literally under the table just writing them down. And as soon as I leave out of that room, I'm like, wait, what is he talking about? What? Sync to what?
Sacrificial lamb?
Yeah. I can do it, man. I can do it. And I'm just literally on the phone just going wait, looking up the term, going, oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do, and then go home and do it. Right. So, it's a learning experience, but I think it helps to come from, Cliff Martinez, who does some big movies and who's a big, composer, just I don't think he ever won an Oscar, but some of the movies he's composed have won Oscars, and he was the drummer for the Chili Peppers, and and Captain Beefheart, and I kind of am trying to model myself off of what he's doing, kind of be the guy who has a specific sound, not the kind of guy who has when you deal with the Hollywood orchestral sound, there's people that just can run circles around, that's what they do, They've learned from the beginning.
You're trying to compete against Hans Zimmer and
yeah. I went over to Hans. One of the composers that was on Infamous 2, Jim Dooley, was at a remote control. Went over there, and they got they got like 5 screens, and everything's touch screens. It looks like fucking like the what's that movie with like with Tom Cruise where he's just sweeping and doing all this shit with like screens and stuff and sounds coming out and they're just pointing fingers and shit moves and and I'm just like, yeah, okay. No, I'm not going to compete with them. I'm going to be on the fucking floor, Tom Waits style, hitting shit and doing stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't compete with them. So, it's just kind of got to get in where I fit in.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you mentioned him. We jump around. It's how we do it. Let's go to Tom Waits.
Okay.
How does that even happen?
Well, that was a good story because I didn't really even know who Tom Waits. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'd heard of him, but I didn't really know. That's all I want to really say. So when I guess he needed a drummer, and he was up in where Les is, Sebastopol area, and I think he's in Valley Ford, Tom, or whatever, that area or whatever, and it's kind of all close together up north in past Marin, San Francisco Bay area, about probably an hour and a half outside of the Bay up north. So he needed a drummer. This was before I was in Primus, and he just said, Les was just like, oh man, you gotta get Brain. Try out this Brain guy, because I was around town playing, doing some stuff. And and then Les calls me and says, dude, Tom Waits is looking for someone and I recommended you. And the idiot that I was, because I was into fusion. Like, I was into like Zappa, Terry Bozzio, Vinnie Colaiuta.
I would say Vinnie was your guy.
Yeah, I was into trying to learn how to play in 2116 and 1916 and learning Keep It Greasy So It Goes Down Easy and all the shut up and play your guitar stuff. I was trying to learn 555, I think, at that point, and I was like
you were that guy then for a long. Yeah,
I was a fusion nerd, Mahavishnu, just Tony Williams, Believe It. Yep. I would kill if I could be that. I was like a fusion guy. So when he said that, I didn't know about songwriting and just fucking vibe and making a hot chick cry or something. You know what I mean? I was a music dork, just a drumming nerd. So Les calls and says, dude, Tom Waits. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I mean, sounds good. I'm just thinking in my head like, well, shit, I want to get this new Joe Montanari snare drummer, this pork pie kick drum, so maybe he'll pay me enough so I can get the, something cool, or something, like that. And so I'm living at my parents' at that point because I'm flat broke, and, Tom literally, Les says he's going to call, and I'm just like, okay, great. Heard nothing. Then it was probably 11:30, 12 at night. I get a call, and my mom literally is like,
he called the parents' house.
Yeah, I'm at my parents because that's the number he had. I didn't,
That's beautiful.
And so it's like I get on it, and it's literally like, Bryan, this is Tom. I'm just like, oh hey, what's going on? He's like, hey man, I need you to come down tomorrow. And I'm just like, oh okay, cool. I'm just like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, where are we going? And it was where the it was called it was where the Tubes, Prairie Prince, I forgot the name of the studio. If I remember,
It's where Prairie Prince and the Tubes rehearse,
or it's where he had built like a room, and I guess he's a painter, so he painted on the walls.
Right.
I can't remember the name of the studio, but it was up north. Okay. I said, here's where we're gonna meet. This is what we're gonna do. But it was literally like this. It was literally like, yeah. So just kind of, I was like, well, what kind of drum set do I bring? Like, what do I do? And he goes, just don't bring anything that you can buy in a store. And that's all I remember. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So, and I'm just like, that was it. And then...
Did you have anything that...
Well, I thought, now I started panicking. So I woke up in the morning, I called a friend who knew about Tom, and he goes, oh, bring some cool stuff. Bring some cool, weird percussion. Just bring some, like, whatever you can find, like a garbage can lid as a cymbal, stuff like that. He just said, it was Joe Gore, I think, who was telling me about him, and Joe Gore was the editor of Guitar Player at that time, and he's a great guitar player, plays with PJ Harvey, and actually was playing with Tom Waits also. I think a little later Joe Gore got in, because I think that was another Les hookup.
Okay.
But anyways, to go back to what so anyways, let me finish the story, because it didn't end then. It went from don't bring anything that you can buy in a store to calling back and literally just going, do you have... He didn't even really even say, like, hey, Bryan, what's going on? It is Tom again. It was literally just... I answered the phone, and it was like, can you bring some shoes that have wooden soles on them? Or wooden, like heels or something. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, we're just going to pound on some stuff with our feet. And I was like, okay. And he was like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And then that was it. So I'm like, now I got to find some clogs with, like, some, So the next day I gathered a bunch of junk, threw it into my old beat-up, like, Honda Civic, drove out there, and I think we were recording for Bone Machine. Mm-hmm. That was the album. The one snare I brought, because I thought he would get a kick out of it, was a Joe Montanari metal snare that was made out of a bullet shell.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a badass snare drum, and I don't know where that snare drum is to this day. I think I lost it somewhere on the road or something, because, I had so much shit. But, yeah, I remember that, so I brought that, and after I told him the story, he was really into it. He thought, oh, this is badass, let's use this. So I used that on the album, but for like two or three of the songs, he just set up a bunch of wood, and I literally put these like clogs on that I had found that had kind of like wooden soles, and we tapped out rhythms together. Like the song would just start, and I never heard the songs before, and he would just say roll, and it would just... There's one song on there, I think, I forgot what song it was, where I had never heard it, and he just said roll, and I had my headphones on, and I had a snare drum and like a piece of metal in my hand that I was like hitting another piece of metal, and we had like an old 26-inch marching band drum that didn't have any stand, so every time I kicked it, it just kind of wobbled away, and he rolled the tape, and because it was 24 track at that point, and he rolled tape, and I had never heard the song, and I'm missing breaks, just never knew what the feel was. I just kind of heard and just started going through it, and at the end he like pressed the button. He was like, that's awesome, sounded like it was recorded in jail, like I was in another cell or something, and he left it. And it's actually on Bone Machine, and it's like, that's the track. I could hear myself missing breaks, like I play this, like a snare fill the wrong time, and it goes into the next break, and he just thought it was cool, like it just sounded gone. And so, yeah, I mean, that's like one, I can go on forever. That's like one of the recording experiences with Tom, it's just kind of like, he's rad because he's the first one there, and if like the session starts at like 10 in the morning, and I thought, well, I'll get there a little early, so I get there at like 9:30. He's already bringing in car parts and shit to hit on. Like, he'll just be fucking carrying like a fucking carburetor into the door. Like, okay, we're gonna try, hit this thing and try this, and so, it's amazing, and he's got like the best people working around him. Like, there's like a $50,000 chain of recording gear to record like a beat up carburetor that he had, found in the back somewhere. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then, this is a good one. When I know I'm jumping around because I just get
jump around.
Dude, when we did the Real Gone tour, there was a wheel, a cart, like a metal, I guess from an old like carriage.
Yeah.
That is part of the sound. It makes like just one tone. It just goes ding, and it literally was probably about 5 by 5 feet circle in circumference. You know, just like a circle and probably about 5 inches thick. But we would hang it and we'd hit it and do that thing. We built a road case to fly that thing out to Europe. And I remember going up to the tour manager. Sorry, there's that beat. Going to the tour manager and going, dude, Tom wants to bring this. And he was just flipped out of his mind because he was like...
How many you use it, like, what, once? Or?
Yeah, once. And, like, literally, it would just go ding in one song, but once. And the case, I think, was like $7,000, and it was like $15,000 to ship it, and it was the most awkward piece. And it's like, no, I want to bring it, and it's got to fly, and you can't.
I need that ding.
Yeah, and you can't, it was genius. I mean, it was just so rad. I'm just like, it doesn't get any better than this, really.
Yeah.
You know, like, really, we're taking this fucking wheel to Europe.
We're taking the wheel.
Yeah, the wheel went. I was just like, this is the greatest gig ever. I mean, that's so cool, But it was that kind of shit, just,
Because you started recording with him, that took how long? I mean,
Well, I mean, we would do, it's like a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of solid. I think Real Gone, we were even there longer. Real Gone was more where he wanted a kind of a band, so I was the drummer. Because he hires a lot of different people. He plays a lot of the percussion too himself and stuff. I think he gets a lot of people to come in, play on shit, and then he kind of sifts through it later. It seems like it. Because, except for Real Gone, it was me, Mark Ribot, Larry Taylor. We were the trio, and we started from scratch. I mean, we were in there, and we recorded every day, for probably 2 to 3 weeks, and just started making up stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, he would on that one, he was more experimenting more with loops and stuff, so it was kind of cool, and even samples. So at that point, that's when my because this was around 2004, so I had already gotten into computers and music and stuff. So he recorded all these sounds in his shower on a cassette of him hitting cowbells, making weird sounds with his mouth, finding any weird kind of percussion and hitting them. So he would just be like, like weird sounds but in the shower, so it sounded crazy, and it was on the cheapest $2.50 thrift store, cassette type thing. Mm-hmm. And cassettes were even gone by then, so I was totally into the computer and music thing. So I had my computer, I could blow that into this program I was using, Peak, at that point. I had Pro Tools and stuff like that, but Peak was a great 2-track editor. So I re-recorded, digitized this cassette that he had into the computer, and I cut them up, made samples out of all the sounds that he just randomly was yelling or stomping with his feet and whatever, and put them in Peak, cut them up, and then blew them back out into my MPC, because I was totally into hip hop at that point, and I was collecting all the MPCs, and had this guy Bruce Forat over on. He did all the sounds, I think, for Michael Jackson's album on the LM1 and all that kind of stuff back in the day. He's right on Ventura Boulevard, and Bruce and I became friends, and he's the one who paints Dr. Dre's MP, all his stuff, and he had one there that was purple for Prince, and he had Kanye's white one and all that kind of stuff. So I had all these pimped out MPCs, so I thought, shoot, I'll bring this on tour, have I sampled all his sounds, put them in the MPC, and I had it to the left of me, and he just loved it because I was playing the stuff that he had as rhythms with the drum set. Right. So I had a manhole for a cymbal, a weird snare drum that he had found somewhere, and and then had his sounds here. So I was introducing a little electronics on Real Gone, and that's how we made those sounds on that album. It was pretty cool, and he was excited about that, because it was a way to play his stuff in rhythm with the music and stuff, what I mean? Yeah. It was pretty cool. So that's how I don't know how I got off track.
No, you were.
Yeah.
There really is no track in a way. It's
Right,
really
okay.
just. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't really know what he wanted. He had ideas, and he wanted you guys to. He wanted everyone to experiment together, like you said, with you, Mark Ribot, and Larry.
Yeah, I mean, there was a funny story with Mark and I remember, and Tom. I probably was. He stepped out. Probably, he was gone for about an hour, and Mark, I guess, knew some of the chords to one of the songs that he wanted to try. So I was like, well, Tom's gone. Can you show me what's going on this particular track? And so he's sitting there, and Mark is kind of going, oh, we go here, A flat here. And, we're going through it. I'm tapping some stuff out of, my on my legs and just kind of working out ideas. And the door opens and Tom walks in and he's like, what are you guys doing? And Mark's like, oh, I'm showing Bryan the song. And he's all, oh man, don't ruin it. That's him. And he doesn't, it doesn't matter, it's like he doesn't want you to.
Don't rehearse the song.
Yeah. It's like, it's just gotta, it's through like, I think it was Bill Laswell one time told me, when I was totally into Ornette Coleman, and he was saying that he just did this thing with Ornette Coleman, and he played a show or something, and he was just like, I go, well, did you rehearse? Did you do whatever? And he goes, I just went over to his house, and we had some food, and we talked. And I said, so that's how you did this show? He goes, yeah, it was just like,
yeah.
You either know or you don't.
Yeah.
On that level, it's just like you're the right guy or not. I remember Miles Davis saying he can see a guy walk and could tell if he can play the drums,
right, or
he's a good musician.
Right.
So, it's like that's how Tom. It's just like you just gotta kind of. There's just something there. It either works or it doesn't. So
like I was to say, you had that obviously because you did that with the Bone Machine thing. He called you back for
right, yeah,
for real, and then you go on tour.
Yeah.
And is that a long tour, or is that like?
Well, the tour went like, yeah. I mean, the tour. I got a story for the tour. I mean, I just feel, but this. I think we were in Berlin, and we. I think we did a sound check for 6 hours, like a 6-hour sound check. Went through songs I had never heard, just whatever, just. Or here's a song I want to try. Remember the gig last? We fucked up some shit. Let's practice this. Whatever. We're just doing a 6-hour sound check. Got all the songs we were gonna do for the set, or what we're for the last set we just played down. Totally, got it all down. We feel great. Gonna play this great 2-hour show. Go to the dressing room, and. Kathleen, his wife, brings down the set list. Not one of the songs that we rehearsed for the 6 hours is on there, and I don't know about 7 of them. So I start to get kind of a panic attack and going like, what the, like, there's nothing on here we rehearsed, we didn't do anything, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I go running up there, I'm knocking on the door, Tom's getting ready, so Kathleen opens, I'm just like, I don't know, like 7 of these songs, I've never heard them, don't even know what they are, and Tom, I can just hear him in the background going, "It's fine, don't worry about it." And we go out, we play, and it was awesome. I don't know how it was awesome. I don't even know what some of the songs were. It's just, that's how, you know what I mean? It was like we did all that rehearsing to just kind of be a band.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter. When the show starts, it's like he just would call something off, or Mark Ribot would just start the song because he knew him, or he didn't, or he just saw the chart, or a lot of the times I asked Larry, the bass player, and he says, I just watched Tom's hands. I'm just behind him on the, upright, and I know he's going to C, to F, to D flat, to whatever, and he just kind of follows it, and it just kind of goes, and he flows, and I just get some brushes, and as long as Tom is up there playing piano, it doesn't, nobody else really cared if I was there, I think. That's really what I got at the end, I was just like, yeah. But, yeah, that's kind of the way it was. It was just, it was about just vibe, I think, It was like, kind of opposite of Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses was like, let's rehearse Welcome to the Jungle 7 million times.
Yeah.
and that fill wasn't exactly the same. I'm not dissing Guns. I mean, we can get into those stories, but
yeah, and we will, and we are. We're there. I mean,
yeah.
you're doing that. It's like so. I mean.
But anyways, yeah. Go.
No, remind me actually of the order of things, because you came in Guns.
Yeah, I mean the way it kind of went was, it like the stories I was telling you about Tom happened somewhere before Primus, pre-Primus, and then post, after Primus. In between, when Axl didn't do anything for 2 years, I went out with, like, Real Gone. But it basically started with, I did Tom Waits before I even did Primus, because Les had recommended me. And then, because I had known Les around the Bay Area, just from him being in this rad band Primus, and I was doing the Limbo
But you were
Maniacs.
living up there, right?
Yeah.
At this time.
Yeah. And so I was just one of the drummers in town and just playing, so I think Les just said, oh, this guy's a good drummer, so Tom's looking for someone, so check him out, type thing. And then I was doing some of Les's side project stuff, you know what I mean? Like just Sausage, stuff like that, you know. And then when Tim left, you know, I remember one day I was here in LA doing just studio work. And I got a call. I was living in Silver Lake, and you know, I got this call, and it was just Les, and he was just like, hey, Brainer, what's going on? And I just be like, oh, nothing, dude, just, why, I don't know, what's happening? He's like, what if Jane's Addiction called you right now and said they need a drummer? And I was like, I don't know, that'd be cool, I'm kind of hurting, you know, I'm just kind of sitting here doing, and he's like, what if the Chili Peppers called you right now and said they need a drummer? And I was like, wow, I mean, that would be great. And then he's like, what if Primus called you right now and said they needed a drummer? And I was like, that sounds cool too. And he goes, well, I'm calling you. Why don't you get over here and let's do some jamming? You know, and I was like, so I went, did some stuff, and I think at that point he was trying Jay Lane out and me. We were the last two going. Okay. And Lur and I had just we had this like Frank Zappa cover band called Kaka together. And, you know, we do all Frank Zappa covers and stuff. So I think Lur and I had this connection that was pretty tight. And I think Les had just saw that and just thought, you know, because Jay's a great drummer. And he went off to play with Primus. He was Primus's, I think, original drummer before even Tim. I think he was doing some stuff with them. It kind of went, I think it was Jay Lane, then Tim came in. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it went. But anyways, so, you know, Les was just like, you know, so what do you think? You want to do this? And I was like, well, I know everybody. This would be great. Yeah. So I went and did Primus. Then, after Primus, I did Guns. Then, when we had time off, I did Tom Waits. And then I went back to Guns, and that brought us all the way to the 2006 when I started getting into the composing.
You were like, get me out of all this.
Yeah, because Guns has a way of doing that. I mean, Axl's always been great, and you know, and all that. But by the end, I was pretty much like, that the road case and the touring was getting to the end, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and do how I wanna, you know, end my life with or whatever. But yeah, so that's sort of the way that went. Mm-hmm. You know, so the Primus thing came with Les and I just being friends, really.
Yeah.
And him just going. And then that's how it kind of got into, because I was listening to some of your other podcasts. I was listening to the Josh Freese one, and he was talking about how I got into Guns was through Buckethead, because I introduced Buckethead to Les and all that to bring him on the Ozfest. And Buckethead kind of came in to that thing because I had met Buckethead through Joe Gore, who was the editor of Guitar Player, said, dude, this guy sent me a video cassette of him just saying he can take out the Paul Schaefer in his band. So it's a video that he was just in his bedroom soloing, and he had some, Maximum Bob was his name, just yelling into the camera going, Paul, you need to get Buckethead to play guitar. And Bucket was just going, so he had turned me on to Bucket. I turned Bucket on to Bill Laswell, who said, Bill, you got to check out this guitar player. He wants to, you know.
So had you met Bucket at that point?
Once. Yeah. before Joe Gore brought him, and he was just this kid from what's that area right in between Claremont. He was from Claremont, California, never been to outside of it. He was in like San Francisco, and he was just this freaky dude who he showed up in a mask and did his whole shtick the whole time, and then we hit it off.
You met him under that.
Yeah. Yep. And
he had the mask.
Yeah, he had the mask. Did
he talk?
He was talking with a puppet. and then we just hit it off. I mean, yeah, that one got me. I don't know. Maybe we should just end it right there. There's nothing else to say, dude.
He's talking with a puppet.
Yeah, he has this puppet that he talks to. Oh shit! I can't take it. I mean, yeah. So, but I introduced Puppet. Sorry, man.
It's like a fucking sock on his hand. Okay. So Buckethead comes down. He's in full regalia. He's doing the full thing. He's talking via puppet. I could see that, though. I could see, clicking with the guy being like, this guy's all right. This guy's...
We just hit it off.
Yeah.
It was... We just... And Joe kind of just said, I think you guys will get along. I think you should play, So I was doing the Limbo Maniacs then, and I gave Bill Laswell this tape.
Right.
And he gave it to Bootsy Collins, and Bootsy just flipped out. So Bill made a band called Praxis, which was Bernie Worrell, Bootsy Collins, me, Afman Flip from the Jungle Brothers, and this guy Torture. And and we made that album.
I mean, that just, come on.
Yeah. Bill just had this thing with him and, and then Bootsy and,
But how does that even, how did you get, who started that again? Bootsy?
Bill, after I brought this cassette.
Okay, Bill Laswell was the ringleader. He just said...
He said, this guy's amazing and he's out of his mind. And the first time Bill met him was he had the mask on and the puppet. Because he would talk through the puppet.
He would do this, even with Bernie Worrell and Bootsy.
Yes, and they loved it. The first time Bootsy met him, he had the mask on. I'll never forget it. We're at Greenpoint Studios in Brooklyn, New York. And... at that point, there was a building on fire next door, and we all pulled up, and it was just chaos. And Bill's totally in that chaos never dies, William Burroughs stuff. So it was just crazy. Bucket sitting there in his mask, with the puppet, talking to Bootsy, who's just going, "Yeah, man, yeah, I get it, I got it." And he's soloing and fucking got the puppet when he needs to go to the bathroom. He's asked what the puppet had. It's just gone. And I'm sitting there just going, what the, chaos never died, that's it.
Fucking bucket.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what he did. And I mean,
have you ever been to his home? I mean, have you
Buckets?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were best friends.
So I'm saying you finally, what does it take to get behind the mask?
He doesn't let too many people get behind the mask. Yeah. I would have to say, me and about 3 other people have been the only ones that have probably ever got behind the mask. On a true... Bucket and I haven't seen him in a couple years because, I just think that we just played each other out, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. We've been working together for 15 years in solo projects like Giant Robot we did together. We were in Guns together. He was my best friend, my just...
Yeah, sure.
I think we just played each other out, and I think we just kind of said, it's time, Bryan, you're doing this thing now, I'm going to go solo, do my thing. But I'd have to say he was and still I consider him one of my best friends. I mean, he doesn't let too many people in. I mean, in Guns, the greatest thing was... he would do the puppet thing, and what wore out the managers were that there's millions of dollars on the line, and they're talking to a fucking puppet. So finally, he just went MIA, and the only way to get a hold of him was through me. And it was kind of fun. I mean, at that point, I was kind of like, oh, okay, to get a hold of the main guy keeping it together, Slash's replacement was to go through me. Right. So I kind of felt like a big cock, whatever. Just thinking, oh, okay, they got to go through me. This is cool,
Yeah.
But,
You were acting as Bucket's manager in a sense?
Kind of, because that's how close we were, I was saying, is that we got along, like musically we got along, just everything,
There's obviously a sense of humor there.
Yeah, it was he got off on that it wore everybody out, and that I was together enough to speak for him.
Did he give a fuck at all, or did he just not?
Yeah, he cared so much so that's I think was his protection. Was like, I can't get worn out by this because I do care about this. It wasn't from a punk rock attitude. It was from I'm scared, so I don't want to get worn out by these lawyers, and I have a talent here. I think he knew he had a talent that people wanted, so he would just wear them out with, you couldn't get a hold of him for like a month. We're going on tour. Is he coming? I don't know if he's going to show up. I think they actually had people undercover cops checking him out at one time. Right. He said, he called me and he's all, Bryan, there's a car out front. It's been there for 3 days. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And this was before we were supposed to go on a major Guns N' Roses tour. I think they're wondering, if I'm going to come. Or we didn't know what's going on. And so he was paranoid and scared. So he said, okay, I'm going to go out there with a mask. And he had a hatchet. So he said he went out there with a mask and a hatchet and just stood next to the car, and he was just like this. Just stood next to the car.
Stood tall like a British guard outside Buckingham Palace.
With the mask, and and a hatchet, and they were just looking at him, and they just took off. So I think he was being followed. Nothing. He never found out the truth, but I think that's how paranoid. That's the game he was playing, because he was MIA for a month sometimes.
Yeah.
Where's Bucket? No one knows where he's at.
And they'd always come to you.
Yeah.
Bryan, where is he? And I don't know.
And I'd always know, and I'd just play it was part of the game. I think that was the whole thing.
He's almost like in wrestling, parts unknown, right? He's that guy. We're not supposed to know.
Yeah, that's just the whole thing. And there was we were really close, and we had some wild, crazy times. It was crazy. But he never swears. He doesn't drink, nothing.
Right.
He's as clean as
Right.
So it's just, I think, and oh man, the letters that he would get from the lawyers and stuff, because he would just wear them out so much. You're never gonna work again. You'll be working at a gas station before you ever will pick up a guitar again, because he just it's like they would try to call him and it would just get Looney Tunes would come on his answering machine, and there's a huge tour coming on, and it would just be like the Haunted Mansion would come on. He loved Disneyland. I think that's the first time he signed his contract with Axl at Disneyland.
He forced Axl to do that?
Yeah, I think Axl went to Disneyland and they signed on the Haunted Mansion. I think as he was on the ride, he signed the contract. So you can't make this up.
He was doing the whole puppet thing with Axl?
Yeah. With everyone. Every rehearsal, he had the mask on. No one ever saw him without it.
And Axl loved it.
Yeah,
he did. Right? He must have.
Yeah. How could you not love it? That was his. It was awesome. It was just the greatest. Right. Every time it was like, what mask is he gonna walk in this time? And he'd have a different one on, and whatever. And I got a picture of him just being swamped in Rocket in Rio, coming off the bus, and he's just got a Freddy Krueger mask on, and he's just signing. No one ever saw him.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. And then we would, that was his thing. Yeah. It's pretty good.
I remember seeing some video of you guys, and he's just, and you come in behind the drums, and, you guys did something.
Oh, yeah, that was my, Brandon's made the worst video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was, that was at,
is that your idea, say, that kind of setup, or is that him involved, too?
That was on that one. That was him doing a favor for me. I was like, dude, can you do some crazy shit? Let's make some stupid shit. And I'm making this video for DW, and we called it "Bryan has made the worst drum instructional" because it
which is
really
a great
was.
Title, by the way.
Yeah,
way ahead of its time.
It was the worst, so we thought, let's just go with it. But yeah, Bucket did that. Oh, Prairie Sun. Because that's where we did that also. That's where we were recording. Yeah, that's where Tom had me go on that first time. Cause,
Prairie Princess.
Yeah, I went back there to do that stuff. And, but, we've been in here. We did a lot of Twisted Metal, which was a game for Sony. We had 3 or 4 tracks on there, and we did them here. Bucket was in here doing them, and, on that couch just soloing, and we'd watch, just horror flicks, put on horror flicks and just solo and jam and stuff like that. But, I think Axel and everyone loved it. I think Bill loved it. Axel loved it,
Axel didn't even care when the lawyers were pissed. He was like, fuck, he probably loved that.
I think he was doing, billion-dollar deals and trying to build the Guns N' Roses hotel and stuff. I think it was just the chaos. It's just like another another thing.
So you were swept up in a machine at that point.
Yeah, the Guns thing was the first time. Like, joining Primus was the first time it was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's a job, and it's not a bad job, but hey, we have to tour, and this is like you have to show up and you have to do stuff. It wasn't just I'll play in a band when I want, or sometimes I'll get a gig and I'll play some. Do a studio session and do stuff like that. I was never like the studio session kind of guy. I never was like. Maybe I just didn't have the talent to just pull it off or whatever, but I'd always there'd have to be more. I couldn't just go in and read a chart and play something. I want to know what are we playing? What are we making? What are we trying to make this? What are we saying with this that we're making? I couldn't I just need to get my paycheck and play. So it's that's why I think composing and that stuff is perfect, because the stuff that you have to do now, you're looking at scenes and you're saying, well, what type of sound are you making for this? Is it going to be dirty? Is it going to be clean? Is it going to be, what mood are we trying to set for this setting? And so it was hard. I think, a lot of times I'd go and do studio work and people would just be like, look, dude, shut the fuck up. We just want you to play, because I'd be going I don't think you guys got the wrong drum sound if that's what you're going for, because what are you trying to make out of this beat, or what are you saying with this thing you're making? And so I think it was just too much. So I think that's why the composing thing and that stuff was just the perfect kind of segue to get into, because it's that's what I get called for now. It's hey, this is a game, and it's it's set in New Orleans, and we need second line feels. We need you to gather some players together. We need you to, get that kind of sound. How do we put it together? And I kind of, I'm into it. I can make that happen. So it makes more sense than being just oh, I'm just going to go to one session after another and I'm just the drummer, I'm just playing. Because I like to get into the sounds and the feels and, what kind of drum kit is going to work? What are you actually, making from this or whatever.
Yeah, be creative.
Yeah, because a lot of it's not. It's just more, hey, just play the part. It's already set up, and it is just what it is. And you just go in, you do 3 or 4 sessions a day. I could just never be that guy because I just wanted it to be more, or something. So
yeah,
I just, and maybe I wasn't as good as an Abel Boreal or Josh, where they can just go in there and Kenny Aronoff and just kill it or whatever, but.
Did you get a lot of opportunities to do that, though?
I did. I got asked a lot, but I shied away because I just felt
you turn stuff down, just.
Yeah, I would turn it down, which isn't, I'm not happy for, because I can use the money now. But
are there things you wish you had?
There was a point, even when I was done with Guns and I was trying to get in this composing thing, and bands were calling, at that point, I think, even Korn called, and they were just Terry Bozzio wants, $5 million to go on the road, so, can you do it for, this amount of money, and I'd be like, oh no, I'm just sitting here at work trying to figure out how the Osio driver goes into the, you know, blah 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 folder, and you know the thing. Yeah. And I remember the manager going, "Are you do you not like money?
Right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Like I'm offering you a bunch of money, you know." Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know. I just getting off on, you know, this is what I'd rather do this.
Because you're like, I don't really like Korn.
Yeah, I mean, I love Korn. Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
but
I don't want to go out on tour again. I just don't want to be the drummer playing behind, you know, the thing or whatever. You know what I mean.
But there's someone who could drag you out, right? I mean, there's got to be that one thing or a couple of things that, well, if they called, I definitely would go.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, I don't really know. I mean,
time's up.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, yeah, I can't really, I don't know really, you know, because I really was into hip-hop at one point, and then I would be talking to these guys and be going like, you know, I would love to play with Dr. Dre, or I'd love to go out with like something like that, some hip-hop thing, and then I'd be talking to the engineers, and they'd just be going, dude, they just, you know, you're not even in the mix, they just have like a 2 mix. My gig is I turn up the 2 mix. Right. So would you really want to do that, or what? Or I was talking to Dave or whatever about his Miley Cyrus stuff and how much work he had to put into that, you know, or whatever. And he was like, and I was just thinking, shit, I'd rather fine tune my craft of recording and you know, learn from, you know, watch some how to record.
Because I mean, nothing's going to also pay like it did. I mean, you were there in a nice, sweet spot where things hadn't changed yet. The guns. I mean, that has to be the right.
At that point, I was just talking to somebody about that 2 days ago, because they worked over at Sanctuary, and they were, you know, talking about this, and they were saying, you know, I had some friends, and I was with Pablo and Kenny, and they were talking about that period, money was being thrown around like there was no I mean, just like whatever. And I was telling him the story of like how I wasn't during the Tom Waits period. I guess I won't get in trouble for this stuff, but it's an amazing story. But during the time, I think we just played like Madison Square Garden. Everything went great, and then we were supposed to play the Spectrum. And to make a long story short, you know, it just fell through. It was like one of those things where I'm in the hotel, Bucket and I are in a hotel room, and we're watching chairs being thrown on, you know, Channel 7 into the, you know, they're like, oh, the Guns N' Roses show's not going to happen. We're just like, oh, okay.
Refuses to come out. Yeah.
And then Clear Channel calls and says the whole thing's over and we're flying home. So I went out with Tom Waits for like 2 years, and did his Real Gone album. That was that period. And then they asked us to come back to do it, and during those 2 years I was supposed to get paid, but I didn't know. I was making money somewhere else and doing that stuff. So to make a long story short, they paid me for the 2 years when I got back in, which would be unheard of, to write a check for somebody doing nothing. But money was just like, oh, we need Brain to...
You were on retainer.
Yeah, it was just like, but a ridiculous amount of retainer, like hundreds of thousands of dollars kind of retainer, to just, you know, it was like they would just throw it at you. You know, so it was kind of like, nowadays, you'd be lucky if you can, you know, I mean, I'm sure Paul McCartney or something still pays $15,000 a week or something, but, you know, to be getting paid, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to just sit around.
That's over, man.
That's over.
That's over.
I don't know who would get that. I don't know if it, I mean, I've been out of it for a while, so I couldn't imagine that, you know, and these guys who, you know, my friends, Pablo and stuff, who was in the record industry at that time, was telling me that was a period where there was this money being thrown around, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Because you came from the Primus thing, you're making some money. I mean,
yeah,
it wasn't crazy, but it's making money.
Yeah. No, I mean, to this day, Les made me a member. I mean, you don't have to do that. Yeah. You know, I was a third or whatever.
Yeah. Of
merchandise, of everything. I mean, it was the greatest thing. I mean, you know, that's unheard of, right? To join a band now and just be like, oh, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, you know, it's like now you got so many great drummers that they're just, we'll just hire this guy and just get, you know.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be a rate.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm saying, and then from that you go to Guns.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, how does that happen again? So wait, you...
Okay, so yeah. So, we were doing Ozfest, and Les had known Bucket around, you know, because he knew us and the Limbo Maniacs and that kind of stuff, and we had introduced him to Buckethead, and, you know, he was like, hey, we should get Bucket to come out and sit in on a couple songs. So, Bucket was out with us, and I think Ozzy wanted him at that point, you know, because it was the Ozfest, and Ozzy was like, you know, I think Sharon was like, shit, Bucket would be great, but I think they had kind of a falling out with, like, they didn't want him to wear the mask or something like that. I don't really know what happened.
Right.
But
they wanted to dominate him.
Yeah, and I think...
Sharon wants to dominate.
Probably, yeah. I don't really know too much about her, but I'm sure it was a vibe like that. So that didn't really kind of work out. And then I guess Josh recommended Bucket for Guns. And I can imagine, you know, I had heard the stories that Josh was sitting around for like 3 years, and someone like him who's, you know, one of the greatest drummers and could play anything with anybody, that would probably kill someone who has that kind of talent to be sitting around for 3 years not touring or doing something. So Bucket was just like, I don't think Josh is going to make it, you know, I don't think he's going to like keep going on this thing, and I was kind of at the end of Primus. It was kind of getting to where Les wanted to break off into doing some other things in the jam band scene. I think he was just picking up on that was a cool thing, and he's such a great musician that was a great way for him to just kind of show more of his talent. So I think he was like, okay, Primus, we play the same songs every time, and it's just a certain form, and I get it, that's his job, and he has to do that, but I want to get into this jam band thing, and we were kind of getting further apart, like, you know, as far as like just, you know, I don't know, we just both felt something or whatever. So I was like, and then Bucket had called and said, hey, Josh is leaving, do you want to come and play? And I was like, well, I don't know, that sounds kind of cool, I guess. I mean, you know, I don't really know, I mean, it's probably crazy, but I'm not trying to sound like a heavy, but in my mind I was like, I don't know if I want to play rock. I thought Axl was cool when he was throwing the mic around and going crazy with his ascots and just being a freak. And, you know, I thought that was cool, but I don't really listen to their music. Right. I don't really know. Right. I don't really know anything. I was really into, you know, like beat music and hip hop. And that's when, like, you know, that's when, like, computers and music was just taking off. So getting into Logic, getting into Pro Tools, getting into, you know, Cubase and all the loop bass type and recording in the computer stuff was popping off. So I was like, you know, I don't know if I want to do that. You know, that was like, I'd say that was like what happened in 2006 when I really dove in. I was thinking that actually around 2000, but then Axl, they were like, well, why don't you just come down and meet everyone? You know, because everybody wants this gig. So, you know, Kenny Aronoff's knocking on the door, and all these people want this gig, and they're saying, I'm the drummer for you and that. And I'm kind of, out of just being, like, not really interested, I'm thinking maybe that made Axl a little like, wait, no one says they don't want to play with me. This is Guns N' Roses. So I think there was a thing like, we're going to fly you out to meet everyone. So they get me a first-class ticket from San Francisco to LA, like a ridiculous, like, 550 SL something Mercedes, black, all tinted windows, comes and gets me. Yeah. I show, you know, they drive me to the studio, you know, I met Axl, and they were like, well, you have to learn these songs, you know, like, we want to jam, right. You know, you have to learn Sweet Child of Mine, this, and this, and I was just like, I don't really know those songs, and I don't really want to learn them because I don't really care, you know, and this, I'm not saying like I'm a heavy, I'm just saying that through my attitude of just, whatever, it was just kind of like, no one says whatever, right. You know, this is Guns, so whoa, wait. So I went down, I met everybody, and everybody seemed cool. Axl actually showed up. He was super cool, you know, and I go home, and 3 months goes by, and, you know, Tommy Stinson, the bass player, calls and says, dude, you know, after 3 months, like, hey, man, you know, we need a drummer, so what's going on? I mean, you want to do this or what? And I remember sitting in a cafe in San Francisco when I picked up the phone, I was like, yeah, I don't know, I mean, it sounds kind of cool. And he's like, well, you should come down and jam. like, you know, like learn some songs and do whatever. So it finally hit me then, because they flew me out. We went to a ridiculous rehearsal studio. I think it was at Center Staging or something, and it was like the biggest room, and my drums are on like a 6-foot riser, and all these things are set up. You know, I'm just thinking like, whoa, wait, this is kind of cool. This is like, I think this is like, you know, when you go to like the 10th floor, this is 11. This is like it. Right. You know, shit, man. Maybe I've made it if I take this gig. This is getting serious now.
Yeah.
So I go in, and Tommy Stinson shows up, you know, with his Replacements punk rock attitude. You know, and I had a boom stand. He comes, he fucking takes off his coat, sets it on my boom stand. And I'm thinking, like, this motherfucker, like, okay. You know, they want to play here. Okay, so, you know. So we're playing the songs, and I am sucking cock. I mean, I didn't know any of them. Because I didn't, and Tommy's going like, I thought you were a good drummer. Like, what the fuck's going on? You know, and I'm thinking like, well, dude, I didn't learn any of the songs. I don't know any of them. He's going, dude, and then like the phone rings, and I hear him talking to like Axel. It's like, so how's Brain working? I just know this is what they're saying. Yeah. And he's going, well, it's kind of cool, but he doesn't know any of the songs. And I hear Tommy and him kind of going back and forth. And at that point, I thought, uh-oh. Like, I'm turning out to look like a fucking douche. So I said, Tommy, give me a day. Just give me a fucking day and we'll come back. Came back, I reset my drums, totally different. At that point, I had kind of the Primus Fusion set, so it didn't really work with guns anyways. Right. You know, just having all these little small toms and fucking splash cymbals and shit. Yeah. Told the drum tech, dude, set up a Bonham kit. You know, 26-inch kick drum, 13, 16, 18, fucking I'm going in with just power. Yeah. Sat up all night, learned, you know, the 5 or 6 songs, and when fucking Tommy comes in one more time and puts his fucking jacket on I'm gonna go, and went in and just played. I kicked over by playing so hard. I'd say 4 or 5 drums fell off the risers, and then Tommy was like, yeah, he's our guy, that's it, let's just do this. So I knew I had to do it. At that point, right? Because I was just like, I'm looking like I can't. Now I'm gonna have like, that guy sucks. Yeah. You know, so I said, okay, this is it. I gotta kick some ass and get my shit together. Right. And then I felt like this is the real deal. I mean, these guys, you know, this is as big as it gets. I mean,
it's major leagues.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's like Primus was big and we played some shit, but now
you went from the Pittsburgh Pirates to the New York Yankees.
Yeah. It was just like
yeah.
And so I was like, this is when I got to step up now. So, you know, and then it was like, oh, this is cool. You know, I started actually listening to I owe it a lot to like that first Guns album and whatever, and really listening to and going, this is a well-crafted album. This is like, you know, the parts are orchestrated. You know, I was just like in fusion and playing, you know, Primus was like jamming a lot. And it was good, and there's a certain side that you have to be able to do that. But I had learned by studying that album and listening to parts and like how Adler played on and the feel and just the whole thing. I'm thinking, this is a well-crafted album. This is like, you know, like good rock and roll in that sense or whatever. Because I mean, I would always listen to Zeppelin and all that kind of stuff, of course, and learn that. But it was more just like, oh shit, trying to get Bonham's kick drum, trying to get, you know, what the parts he's playing. This was actually kind of going like, wow, listening to the parts and seeing how it works with the guitar and seeing how it moves with everything. And I don't know, it was good for me. It was great that I did it, you know, to learn and to do that. So, you know, I don't regret any of it at all, you know.
Well, I was going to say also, I mean, once you get in, I mean, the money starts coming in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all very nice.
Yeah.
It's all very nice.
It just felt like it was the right thing. Yeah. You know, and it was a good learning experience, and some of the techniques and stuff I know about recording were from some of the most amazing engineers and stuff that were on that gig, because there was a lot of downtime, as like Josh would tell you or something about, you know, being in the studio. I think we were at the Village for like 6 years. You know, I think I must have the record for the drums being set up in one studio the longest, because it was literally like 6 years. It felt like we were there, and I would just wear out these engineers who were the best in the world about recording and how to utilize, you know, the software in the most efficient way and all that stuff. That's how I learned most of my techniques that I do now for the composing I'm doing from those guys. So I would have never have had that unless I was like thrown in that situation, you know, on the highest level too.
Yeah.
You know, and the people over at the Village and stuff, Jeff Greenberg, I think he's the owner now or whatever, it was so nice to me, you know, just let me go in there all the time and just wear everyone out about recording and stuff. So, you know, that was good, you know, that stuff.
But the politics and all that.
Well, I mean, you know, there was some amazing... The stories I have with guns, you know, like... everybody who I think has been in guns can write a book.
Yeah.
You know, within the period that they've been in. In the 8 years that I was in or whatever I did, I think I could write one too. I mean, you know... the most ridiculous stories ever of the tours and just, you know, I don't know if you even want to get into those or whatever, but
do you want to get into them?
Well, I mean, it was just the thing that wore me out was, at first I thought it was funny. I thought it was cool to be like at a gig that was supposed to start at 10 or like maybe even earlier, 8:39. And now it's 12:30.
Yeah.
And the crowd's going crazy, and Axel's still getting his massage, and you know, the tension and the whatever. But you do that for like 3 years, and you start to just go like, God, I'm kind of ready to play at like 8. I just kind of want to do that and then eat my fucking pizza and go to sleep.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like
you're on his clock.
Yeah. And after a while, that's what kind of got me. I was kind of like. Because to me, the whole Chaos Never Dies with Bill Laswell and stuff, and you know, with Buckethead and the puppet, and you know, then with Axel, and you know, he's the ultimate puppet master because nothing happens unless he says yes or whatever. So, you know, and just some of the freedom that we had, you know, it was also like what killed it for me, you know, because it was just too much. I can describe it in one story that we were getting ready, I think it was Rock in Rio, and I think we rented out the Sony where they did like the Wizard of Oz, so it was like the Sony lot, it was like this huge lot, and he needed he wanted the whole stage set up that we were going to have at Rock in Rio somewhere, so we had to go there because they had to mark it out. So we're there rehearsing, and the rehearsal started at 12 midnight. Okay, so first of all, you got to switch your whole schedule around. He didn't. We rehearsed for like a month. The set, you know, like
at
getting
midnight,
it down
every time
at midnight. He didn't show up. We'd always get that call around like 4 a.m, like, he might come. So, you know, we have to all be like ready to play. But, I think it was the day before the gear was supposed to leave. So it's like, I think the crew had been there since like maybe 8 a.m, you know, setting up, making everything, you know, they have to break it down and the gear has to leave. Like literally the next morning. Well, we're there and on this particular day, we rehearsed the set, 2.5 hours, did the whole set. It's probably 3 a.m. now. Axel from Malibu called. He's coming. And he wants to see the whole set again. He wants to, you know, watch the show. Everybody's like, okay.
He wants to watch.
He wants to watch the show. So
you're just going to play what? Just the music?
We've rehearsed only the music. He would never sing with us. We knew the set through, yeah. So he wants to come and watch it. So they put a couch out. You know, we're on this big sound stage, and there's just a little couch out there next to the soundboard, right in front of the sound guy. Oh. We had already played for 2.5 hours. He's coming to check it out. Well, an hour goes by. Is he really coming? You know, the road crew now, everybody's literally asleep. I'm like, everybody's sleeping on their, like, you know, next to their gear. Yeah, he wants to come, but the problem is no, he wants to see the whole show. Pyro and everything. So we're like, wait, I think each time the pyro guy hits the fucking thing, it's like $3,000 for like each bomb or something. You know, we're just gonna go off, but we're gonna do it in this sound stage. But so in order to make that happen, they got to get the fire department down here because there's no, you know, just in case. So now the fire department comes down, but I think they're digging it. They're thinking I get to watch Guns N' Roses rehearse. So so they show up. We play the set from like by now it's probably 5. So we're playing the set. All I can remember is I am playing like November Rain, and they have the rain, what is it called? It's like the fire rain.
Oh, curtain of sparks.
Yeah, the curtain of sparks are like bouncing off my cymbal, like burning my face and like getting on my like shorts and shit like that. And I'm playing. The door opens. It's daylight. People are going to work, like, you know, just like walking. Like I can see, you know, like it's totally black, but you see the door open for a second in one of those sound stages. Yeah. You see people like coming to work, and it's like we're playing now. We've been up since like 12 o'clock. The road crew has been up since like 8 until now. They've been up for 24 hours. He's in the chair with his crossed, just watching. We've been playing
arms
the whole
folded,
arms just watching. We're playing the whole thing. Bombs, fireworks, everything's fucking going off. We end with Paradise City, you know, doing like the fucking shuffle thing. They blow the confetti shit, the shit that they do at the Super Bowl that goes all over and has like 6 inches on the ground of a football field, so you can imagine how much it filled this place up. And dude, I am not joking, it's like 7:38 in the morning, and in my mind, I'm doing this. It's the most surreal moment. I'm just going, like, who's gotta fucking clean the confetti? Like, who's fucking, what are we doing? Like, some poor guy has to fucking sweep 6 inches of confetti, like.
You'd make a horrible Axl Rose, Bryan.
I
See, you.
But we hit the last note, dude. He gets up, walks out, didn't say a word, didn't see him. We just get up, everybody goes home, and the next time we saw him was in Rock in Rio. I mean, that's sort of Guns in a nutshell. Like, that's the chaos and what happens. Yeah, I don't really know what, you know.
Like, there's no, there is no such thing as, like, hanging as a band with no such thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I mean, you know, we'd hang and stuff, yeah, but I just meant, like, that's the kind of chaos that would be around it. It's like...
just stupid shit.
Well, you would just think, like, what are we doing? Like, what okay. Like, someone's got to blow confetti at 7:30 in the morning in the Sony lot. To, you know, like, they got, like, it has to happen. This really has to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
We're doing this now?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, dude, I don't want to talk shit because it was the greatest time ever, really. It really was awesome. But I just, you know, but I have to tell these stories, but there's nothing against, you know, I want to say there's nothing against Axl. I mean, he was always good. It was just like, this is how he rolled. You know, this was the gig.
This is what he gets away with.
Yeah, it's just, this is the gig. Yeah. All right, we're going to blow confetti at 7:30 in the morning playing a shuffle. You know? A fucking shuffle. And Buckethead's doing fucking breakdancing in the side while the shuffle's happening, you know? He's moonwalking. I'm thinking, really? This is it, huh? This is as good as it gets.
This is as good as...
Yeah, this is it. Fucking shuffle, 7:30 in the morning. Just the boogie woogie shuffle is, I think, what took me out. You know? And then going like, the stupidity in me going like, shit, I wonder if I can really do at 7:30 in the morning what Adler was doing on the album, which is 3 notes in a row. Not... He's fucking doing... with fucking 1 foot.
Right.
I couldn't do it. 7:30 in the morning with the confetti. Not good enough.
With the confetti, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like you do that.
The confetti wasn't there. I could have pulled it.
Yeah, 7:30 to deal with.
But that's the dumb drummer in me that I was thinking. I was thinking, oh, maybe if there was any meaning to this, it's that I can, you know, like get the. But nah, couldn't do it.
That's the tough. That was like one of the toughest grooves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard to play.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, that's. I mean.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, with 1 foot, it's really hard to play.
It gave you a new respect for Steven Adler.
Yeah. But he might have not had to do it at 7:30 with the confetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And I had done the set, 3 hours before that or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was already doing that.
Did you ever talk to Matt Sorum or any of these guys at that point?
No, he never came around.
Like
I mean, Steven Adler came to a couple of shows. He came to a Vegas show. But I've never met Matt Sorum. I don't think I've ever met him.
I was just curious if you ever like talk shop with any of the other guys, like as far as.
No, I mean there's some stories that like there were stories that were going around about what they had, the previous band, and the chaos in that
with the Josh thing.
Yeah, and that's why I was just like, everybody can talk about this. Everybody could write their own book. I mean, it just keeps going. But I mean, to this day, I've never had any bad. I know that probably the other guys in the original band would probably have. I don't know what they would say, but he was always good to me, and it was always like he was. Anytime I was hanging with him or whatever, it was all good. You know, there was no weirdness with that. It was just. That was what was happening. That's why I was saying, like, I don't feel bad saying this stuff, because I'm not looking at it as it's a bad thing. I'm looking at it as it's kind of rad. I just think I got older and was just like, wait a second, wait until 2 a.m. is not so fun anymore. It's just like I was just getting...
That sucks.
Yeah, I was just like, there comes a point where it's just like, I just kind of want to do my work and get some shit done. But with that, it's kind of like, well...
And also, I mean, again, right? The money, man. That's hard to walk away from.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to think that out. No, you knew. Like, I walk away from all this.
That's why I was saying I was kind of dumb. I was just kind of thinking, like, when I'll never forget when that manager dude was telling me, he was just like, wait, so are you saying you don't like money?
Right.
Like, isn't this what you do?
Corn. We have money.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to pay you.
Yeah.
Or to leave Guns, because I left.
Oh, this was during Guns that you got.
Well, I left Guns, and then they had called, when I finally had left Guns or whatever. But I just, I mean, I left because, I had a kid, and I just thought, I want to really get this composing thing going. I want to give it a shot. I want to see if I can get some stuff going and sneak into it and make something happen. Yeah. And I'd done this. I mean, how many more shows do I need to play? I've toured the world 3 or 4 times with Primus, probably more than that, 5 times with Guns. 3 or 4 times we did it, because I was the first one that toured once he got the band back together. I don't even think Josh played a show.
I don't think they did.
So we had done 2 or 3 tours. Yeah. And then so I was just kind of, like I said, like you're asking me who I'd want to play with. Of course, there's people that I'd be honored to play with and that I admire. I just don't know if I'd want to do the work, especially after hearing what, like Dave was saying about Miley Cyrus and like learning all the charts and just hitting he had to play every note exactly how the album was, and you had to hit the pad at this point in that thing. I'm just like, I don't know. I want to put what I know and the work that I know into something else.
Mm-hmm. Would you go back with the weights, for example?
Oh yeah, I would go out with Tom.
Right. Yeah. That's just a special.
Yeah, his son Casey plays drums with him now. We're really good friends and stuff.
Right.
So he started playing drums, and he'd be on tour with us and come out sometimes, and we're still good friends, and we talk every so often. But I think he just uses him now.
Yeah.
After I left, it was just Casey exclusively, I think.
Right.
Yeah, that was it. But
because you were dealing with as you said, that was sort of.
Well, I'm like, if Bob Dylan called me, I would be honored.
Now there you go.
Yeah, I would go out in 2 seconds. Or Paul McCartney or somebody like that, or whatever. Yeah, definitely. But just to go out with like another band, I would want to be a part of a band.
Yeah.
Like if something started or something like that, I would love to do that and have creativity in it and be a part of it. But just to be the hired gun, I think I'm just, I don't know. Even though because I still get to play the drums and stuff on all the projects.
Yeah.
Like any film stuff or any video game, a lot of it has a lot of, they know that I know that side of it. So usually it's a game that has a lot of percussion,
right,
and drums in it.
Yep.
That I'll be involved in. It's not like an orchestral thing or something like that. So, or only orchestral stuff. But yeah. I mean, I would like to. I mean, if Axel, I mean, I do miss. I do miss playing live. I mean, I would want to do stuff as one-offs. I wish I could get back into, like maybe just one tour, knowing that was going to be it. Maybe
a one tour thing, yeah.
Yeah, instead of going, and then I can come back and do what I want or whatever. That's why the Crystal Method was so cool.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, hey, come and play these shows, and they're also composers, so I would learn a lot and watch them and how they work with computers and music, and I love their programming, and they're great artists, so I felt like I could learn something in that,
right,
in that whole scene. But to be involved in what I'm doing now, which is like the video games and doing this movie stuff, I mean, I love it. I mean, on this last video game that we on Infamous, we're at Skywalker with like a 70-piece orchestra, playing like parts that I was fucking doing right here. They had the budget to be like doing that,
Do the real thing.
Yeah, and asking me questions and shit, and me just going, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, have the timpani, and have the violas like played it, and me just going like, like going, what the fuck is he talking about?
They're gonna find me out. They're gonna find me out.
They're gonna figure this out soon. Yeah, but I don't know. To me, that's sort of I'm partnering up with this girl Melissa Reese, who's classically trained. So why I decided to go with, and we just did that film for Joseph Kahn, the Power Rangers thing that I was talking about, that went viral for a little bit. We teamed up on that to we're hoping like that's going to be our like stepping stone into like film and stuff, because it went so viral, got like 15 million hits and stuff like that. So that's what we're hoping to do. As far as a reel, we've done enough on the composing now to have a pretty good reel, so I'm hoping I'm already kind of in it. Like,
do you have an agent like in this department, or?
Yeah, ICM. Yeah. So we have Bryce over at ICM. So they're one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And so.
So you're just you're out there, like
I think I'm dabbling.
They're saying it to other people.
I'm seated at the restaurant.
Yes,
I'm not sure they're gonna serve me yet.
Well.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to get served. So I think it was hard, dude. I mean, it was people. I think it takes probably 10 years for someone to say he was a drummer, and then now they look at you as, oh wait, now he's a composer. He's doing this. Like Cliff Martinez, I would look as, well, he's a drummer. I mean, he's a composer, even though he has some good credits as a drummer.
Yeah.
It's hard to break, and like I said, 2006 I started getting into this, and the only real gigs that I've been playing are, we did some with maybe Buckethead and Crystal Method. That was about it. I think I did a couple with Bill Laswell and stuff like that, but that was about it. So I've kind of like got, as far as like drumming, I've kind of like...
You're in your 9th year, so according to that, like you've...
Yeah,
next year...
I'm thinking, I might
could be a pivotal...
People will start looking at me or saying like that's what he does, and that could be my turning point, because I would like to spend the next 10 years doing this,
right,
Right. I would love to be getting some of the do 2 big movies a year, like 2 cool movies a year would be a great career, and spending time and really crafting it, and not just, shitting the stuff out, like getting budgets that let you work on it. That's the great thing about video games, is we do have the budget, on some of this AAA games like Infamous. I mean, shit, you can go online and do like behind the scenes of Infamous 2 and 3, and they'll show us in, at East West for 2 weeks recording, and Skywalker recording an orchestra and stuff like that. I mean, what even albums nowadays are you allowed to do that? And,
No way.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm hoping that will be, because I really like the crafting. I really like the kind of, you're building a house and you're trying different fixtures and you're working the, what kind of curtains are going to work in this room, and what, and taking time and having that kind of budget to really design something.
That's the thing, again, having the time.
Yeah. Because most people won't do that. That's why I don't like ads. I don't like working with ad agencies. I don't like doing things. It's just, how fast can you get this to us? It's just like, well, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to say no if someone's going to pay us $75,000 to make a 60-second.
But that's not what you're trying to do here.
No. My goal would be to have the time, do 2 movies, big budget movies a year that
right. You can
really find, and having a fan base, someone knowing you for the sound that you're making.
Yes.
So you can kind of have that personality that I had a little bit in with drumming.
Yes.
With this too, I mean, the ones I look up to all have that. I mean, like Terry and Vinny and all those, in drumming, I mean, they're like gods, and Neil Peartz and those kind of things. I mean, I would if I had half of that in the composing side, like I had half of it with the drumming side, I'm happy. I don't need to be Hans Zimmer or fucking John Williams.
Right.
But if I can have a little bit, I'm cool, because I'd rather be that guy who's crafting, and you have my joke was I have like 5 fans. Wherever I go, I have like 3 or 4 fans that show up. Oh, Bryan, we like you. Axel has 30,000. Buckethead would have 15,000. Right. I have 3.
Yeah.
But those 3 know everything and they dig it, and so that's all if I can get that in the, composing side.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see what Hans has to do there and stuff at, like, remote control. It's ridiculous.
It's a big... Yeah, no.
Oh, I mean, he's running a fucking...
It's an empire.
Block. Yeah. It's like 3 blocks of his buildings.
Yeah.
And, I just don't... Like you said, I'd make a bad Axl Rose. I'd make a bad Hans Zimmer,
That's the thing. Yeah, it's that...
I'm not interested in that. I just want to do a couple cool things a year. And if I could live and still have a cool car and, and just... live kind of at the bottom of the hill. I don't need to live at the top. I'm cool.
Kind of the bottom of the hill.
Kind of, not at the very bottom, but kind of, a little up there. I'm fine. I mean, that's what I'm hoping with this composing stuff. Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get the name Bryan, by the way?
I got it because I was going to PIT, and I
remember I love the ads for PIT.
Yeah, remember back in the day, it was just always, PIT.
Yeah.
It was no MIT with all this other shit.
But I always loved that of technology. Percussion Institute of Technology.
I think I went like Frank Gambale was going there.
Yeah.
There was, he was a student when I was there. And they've realized how fucking he was better than all the guys, so he made him a teacher, I think, that year. And, but I was going there, and I was practicing a lot. I was so into Terry Bozzio and Vinny. I was into Portraits in Rhythm. I wanted to learn everything about that book, Anthony Cerrone. I wanted to, just be a master at that book, because I heard Terry Bozzio knew how to play it. So I would just have a snare drum in that book. And the kids there were into partying, going out into Hollywood, right. Going to the West Side here, and right. Going to the beach and doing all this partying. And I would be like, no, dude, I'm on page 17, and I got to learn these 30-second note triplets and all this, 5 tuplets with a triplet within this, all this crazy shit. And they were like, what are you, some kind of brain? They just kept saying, what, you'd rather do this? Come on, we're going to go check out chicks and stuff. And I'm just like... No, dude, I gotta get this down. I mean, because I heard Terry Bozzio learn this, and so I was all into it. So, yeah, then it kind of stuck.
Yeah.
They would just call me Bryan there, and I'd just be like Bryan, and so it just kind of stuck. And my mom calls me Bryan.
I was gonna say you're always Bryan.
Yeah. And in the composing stuff that we do, now that I've teamed up with Melissa, it's Bryan and Melissa. So and it seems to be working. We got it comes up and people like it, and it's a good team, and so
hey, can you still play like that, by the way? All that stuff you were just saying, like
No, I mean, that's like...
You haven't tried to do that stuff in a long time, am I right?
No, I my reading, I'd have to practice again to be able to read that stuff. But like my goal was to play the black page at the school for my final, and I did in front of Ralph Humphrey.
Sure, but could you do it today? If I say just go, no, right?
No.
Like all that, it's just not there. You don't sit down at a pad and work out. No.
When I see, Dave or whatever,
sure,
it's just like, or the technique and stuff that he has. I'm just like, I'm hoping I'm just going to be able to hire him. Like, I'm going to get the budgets on these games to just go, I don't want to sweat and get my shoes dirty, or like get my, like pants, or I don't want to. It sounds bad because it's just like I don't want to do the work.
But you're doing other work. You're not.
Yeah, but the work is more
do you know what
like.
I mean? Like you're not. It's not.
Yeah, it's work. It's not like I don't want to put the hours in the physical side. I'm just like, shit. This is on this.
That takes hours to do. You'd rather put the hours into doing the composing.
Yeah.
I don't see the problem with that.
Yep.
Like I don't. That's not lazy.
That's what I want to do. I want to be able to get the budgets where I hire these. The people that I've always admired. Right. I would love to get a video game where it's there's a lot of like odd times and complicated stuff, and be able to have Terry come in with his percussion setup, and record him, and then take that, put it in the computer, cut it up, break it up, make contact instruments out of it, and make different music. My thing, what the composing side is. That's where I would get the excitement.
Yeah.
Because I'm still a fan, I mean, I still put on, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar and just go, what the heck? What the fuck was he doing? Like, or watch old, Zappa videos where Vinny was sitting 6 inches off the ground with his yellow drum kit smoking with the big glasses, and he's just fucking ripping. I still, rather do that than jerk off to porn or whatever. Like that gets me off. I just love it. So I'm a fan, and I want to keep that.
Yep.
But as far as the physical thing and doing it as a job and going out there, I don't know. I think those days are. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I asked. Like I feel like it doesn't. I don't see it like you getting behind a kit, like working out. Like okay, keep my feet together.
yeah. Like I'm gonna practice. Some paradiddles and some right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think those days are done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Would you recommend this life to your kid?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I want to say fuck it, fuck music, but come on. I mean, we're sitting in Venice, California, talking shit.
Yeah.
When people are working and shit, I gotta be grateful, man. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, yeah, I would. It's been good to me. Yeah. But there's days when I want to talk shit and to make myself feel better because I'm insecure. But, I'm like, no, when I really think about it now, it's been good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, people are doing some shit jobs and we're kicking it, talking shit about puppets and stuff.
That's fucking great.
Yeah. Still trying to fucking find out where that beep's coming from. And it's like, beep. Like,
is he around, by the way? Is he around, your friend? Is he doing anything?
Bucket?
Yeah.
I mean, last time it was
under a different name or something?
No, I mean, we were doing a track for a video game. I think it was Twisted Metal. The last time I saw him was here. He came in. He was pretty it was just a weird vibe. I think he was maybe done with, like, I don't know, I just felt something weird. Something was weird. And he had left, and, like, I haven't talked to him since. And it's been about 2 years. And up till then, I thought everything was great. I don't know if it was me. I don't know if he was just like, oh, I'm sitting here playing, and Brain's getting all the credit, or if it was just, he was done with just playing for other people. He felt like that, even though I felt like, hey, they know you're playing, and you got credit on it. If you look at iTunes, it says Brain and Bucket, or whatever on the tracks and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. And then that was it. And then I see that he's still touring and stuff, solo, and you know, I want to reach out to him, you know, and stuff, but I just don't know how, you know, because I just don't know if I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just gotta like just let things
move on.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of let things be what they, you know, like everybody's got their problems, and you just gotta, you know, I gotta worry about other stuff.
Yeah, exactly,
so,
exactly.
But I do miss it. I mean, that's the part, the creativity and the craziness. I mean, he's such a genius. I mean, you know, just, I miss the 4 a.m. calls and all you hear, like, you know, he just solos for like 10 minutes. I mean, I got the phone off the thing. I'm just sitting there, and then he's just like, dude, I think I'm getting faster. I think I'm getting faster. Hold on. It's just like he just plays guitar all, you know. Yeah. I miss that because that's why I got into it, was for the freaks and stuff. I mean, the composing side, the one thing I gotta say is you have to show up on time. They expect delivery on time. The main thing is that they have to know that you can deliver and that you can get the job done, because there's millions of dollars on. In rock and roll, it's like, oh, you're early? What are you, like, some kind of loser? Or you know, like, what are you, a professional? Or right. What? You know what I mean? It's like, that's the part. But I miss the creativity. You know, I miss the spontaneity of just, like, creating something, just art. You know, it's just, he's a genius, and you miss that. It's rare that you get to work with people like that. You know,
there's no one else like that.
No, it's like the people that
the whole package.
Yeah. The people that we hire now to do the stuff, if we hire, you know, they're pros. Yeah. They come in, they have all their sounds together, they have everything, because we're on a budget. There's time. It needs to be delivered by, you know, 11 a.m. the next day.
That's what I'm saying,
you cannot have.
There's no time for puppets and.
No, there's no. Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Right. Because that's the best part of it. You know, that's the part I miss. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to bring that back, because what got me excited about even this punk rock way that Joseph Kahn, this video that we just did for the short film that we just did for the Power Rangers, is he kind of did a punk rock thing, you know? He put hundreds of $1,000s into something, made a badass thing, threw it on the internet, and now everybody wants to take it down, and he's fighting, and then...
He's a cool dude, Joseph Kahn. He's a cool dude.
He's been so kind to us. He's put us on everything. He fights for us. I'm hoping he becomes the next Tim Burton, and we're the next Danny Elfman.
Well, I mean,
you know, that's what I'm hoping. That
he already is a big deal.
Yeah, no, he's amazing, and that's what we're hoping for, is that we can just do good work for him, and he can be doing great films, and we can, like, support him with the music, and, you know, that's our goals. That's what we want to do.
I haven't seen Detention. That was his movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we did the music for that.
You did?
Rain and Melissa. Yeah,
you know,
he did that with his own money also. Yeah, he went, you know, it's rad. He did it with his own money. He got, you know, the same thing as this Power Rangers, and those are the 2 films that we worked on with him. And a bunch of ads and stuff, you know, that pay the bills, stuff like that too. But, you know, yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and what's rad about him is he knows what he wants. I mean, it's such a pleasure working with something. I mean, when you do ads and for ad agencies, and, you know, it's music by committee.
Right.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You just want to kill yourself by the end. It doesn't matter how much money's involved. You're just like, this isn't even worth it, because. Right. You know, you got people that don't even know about music saying, like, well, can you change the part that's going, like, boom, and change the other part that goes, like, or, you know, it's like, that's the messages you get. And you're just like, oh, okay, change boom. Right. Okay, what the fuck, you know, it's like, let me do my job. I'm sure you're great at selling this shit and writing the perfect email, so do your job. Yeah. You know, and let us do ours. But they won't, and that's the part. With Joseph, he knows music. He knows what he wants. You know, it's awesome, because he'll just he just gives you example. You know, he articulates his vision and of what the music is supposed to be, and we're just kind of his, like, you know, funnel to make it happen. You know, we can just, like, be like, we can do that. I see what you're saying, and so it's awesome. And then, you know, and then he pushes you. You know, he's like, that's good, but I think you guys can do better. And like, ooh, you know, okay, you know, he's listening. You know, that's one thing about Axl too, is he knows his shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I don't know how much time we have, but we were working on a track, and we probably were working on this track. I forget the name of the track, but I don't even know if it made it on Chinese Democracy. But we were working on it for about 2 weeks, maybe even longer. And we would work at the Village, which is in Santa Monica, that studio, and everything would be like dropped off to him. At that point, it was like giving him CDs was the thing. So it'd be a runner ready to go right when we were done at 12 midnight to bring it up to his house in Venice, and in Malibu. We'd wait about 35, 40 minutes till it got there, get the call, yeah, this is cool, or no, we got to change something or do whatever. We've been doing that for like, I don't know, 2.5 weeks on this song, let's say. Finally, he loved what we were doing, but we had to change something with the drums. So I remember replaying the part, but on the beginning of like the second half of the intro, there's a kick drum that I had missed on the final take. That we already had figured out all the parts and everything was going great, and the producer Roy Thomas Baker was like, that was the take. But I had noticed that we had I had just missed one kick drum. One kick drum on the one of the second half of the beginning of the the intro, okay? We send it there, and I'm not shitting you. He says, everything sounds great except I think Bryan missed a kick drum on the one. So he's fucking listening. It's not just we're not just sending, we thought we were sending this shit, and he's literally, sitting there King Arthur with 7 chicks on his pipe and licking his, and no, he's listening, he's working. I mean, after that, I respected. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, he caught that. Like, yeah, he's listening to every little thing, because that was my time of getting the drums right. Yeah. So he was focusing on that, and he was like, "No, you guys missed this kick drum." We're like, "Oh shit," So, anyways, I don't know what that means or anything, but. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Because you would think someone like him wouldn't care. Like, does he need to care? I mean, he's, the puppet master. He's...
As you said, though, you heard every little thing.
Yeah, that one got me. I was like, wow, he caught that.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Thank you, Bryan, for doing this.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I mean, thanks for, I reached out to you, so thanks for coming out. I really love your show, and I think you're doing a great thing. So
thank you, man. I appreciate it. And all right, man, here's to it.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's it. We're gonna wait for the beep, cut it off, or you can. You know what? I'm so good with a sampler. I'll send you the sample. You can put it in.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
It's gonna come, I think.
I mean, we have to talk until the beat.
That'd be a great way.
We're extending this episode, and it's...
I don't know.
Now.
Damn it! Didn't happen. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
And it'll be right there.
Do you want it at 44.1 or 48K?
Yes.
We've been working a lot on 96 lately, so maybe I'll send you high res.
I like that.
Yeah, DSD.
I like that. All right, one last chance, Beep, to do this live. To do this live, you got one last chance. I'll do it live. All right.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Bryan.
Yeah. Just.
I did that. What? Do it.